it would be wrong of me to give you the impression that Henry IV Part 1, Henry IV Part 2, and Henry V are all about Falstaff. That would be wrong. It would be unfair. But I just want to share with everybody that relationship. It is literally at the heart and soul of why Shakespeare continues to live and be vibrant today. Richard II, Henry IV Part 1, Henry IV Part 2, and Henry V form a tetralogy, 4 plays, all covering related sequence of events. And my little video here to introduce week 6 in our class and Henry V for this week is really going to focus on that relationship that evolves between Prince Hal and Falstaff, and also point out something that I know you've seen in your quick tour, your we used to call these double features. We had one movie and then another movie. You guys have made a quick run through Henry IV Part 1 and Henry IV Part 2, and it is my hope that you have watched Prince Hal, just growing. That is what's happening here. We watched Henry IV Bolingbroke now in his fullness as king, lamenting that he actually wished that he had Hotspur as a son and not his own. No, his own was out whoring. Excuse my language, but I think I learned it. So Shakespeare is incredibly deliberate in sending Prince Hal into Eastcheap to hang out with, well, I think they called him lowlives, and Falstaff. And what Shakespeare's also doing is it's almost Freudian, because what role is Falstaff playing in his life throughout much of this sequence but that of a father? And then literally in Henry IV Part 1, Falstaff literally role plays as his father, because where's Bolingbroke been in this guy's life? Even going all the way back to Richard II, there is a line about, where's my son? He's gone. Right, well, where's your son? I'm sorry, what have you been doing? Scrambling for power, spending all that time scrambling for power, abandoning that child, and there he is. That, let us say, is the garden he reaps for abandoning him. And this play manages to explore these complicated familial dynamics. This is, people will be asking you, now that you're going to be an incredible Shakespeare expert, they're going to say, like, why does he matter? Why does Shakespeare matter? Because nobody, even contemporary drama, you just can't do it better. You can do it as well, trust me, and I don't want to go down that rabbit hole, but there is a lot of great literature out there that explores these important, complicated family dynamics as well, but not better. And the fact that Shakespeare is really the first at grabbing this, it is, maybe it's not even as well. I hate to say that, because hopefully, and I'm so enjoying the comments that you made on parts 1 and parts 2, because even without a great big hoity-toity lecture about that, everybody's picking up that vitality, that action, and it's in there. And now I want to share with you. So you have seen a contemporary version of it in The Hollow Crown. You have seen Richard II, Henry IV Part 1, Henry IV Part 2, in the Hollow Crown version, which, if you compare the scripts to that, well, they toss out a lot of the script, but they make it fun, and they highlight what's important. And one of the, well, the important relationship that they're highlighting, the one that they're going to make really pay off, and that Shakespeare makes pay off, is the distance that Prince Hal has to go to become Henry V. And that's what you guys are going to be looking at today. Now, oh boy. You have already seen how at the end of Henry IV, Part 2, well, that arc had to move. Prince Hal had to embody kingliness, ultimately. And to do that, he had to reject his sort of chosen father. He had to reject Falstaff. And in Henry V, you will see the ramifications. And again, most people who teach Shakespeare will just spoil everything. I say no. I say no. You guys are going to get in there, read the text, look at the comments, add comments, and find out what happens. And then this week, you're going to view a globe version of Henry V. Now, of course, what happens as a result of the rejection of Falstaff is incredibly powerful. That's something that I wanted to draw to your attention. What I also want to draw to your attention, and luckily we have incredibly talented people who will be interrupting the drama. You'll be listening to the audio and they'll be explaining how the church, for its own reasons, for its own self-preservation, is manipulating the political action here. So you'll get to see that, and you'll see where it goes, and hopefully as you read Henry V, you'll see that Shakespeare has written this in such a way, this tetralogy, 4 plays in a row, to go to basically hold aloft Henry V as an example of a great king who unites a kingdom. Now, of course, he has to use a foreign adventure, a war with France, to do it. But the idea was to begin to talk about Great Britain moving toward empire. And that's, this seems to be the goal of kings, is to, more and more and more. And so it's Shakespeare's job to hold Henry V up as an example. But there are a couple other things I want you to notice. The first is about the contemporary feel of this that I've already talked about a little bit, and the sequential nature. We're dealing with basically a series the same way that Marvel is a series. And I want to just draw everybody's attention, and I'm not a big Marvel expert, but I did see Iron Man at the beginning with Tony Stark, who was like a wayward, licentious womanizer. Oh my gosh, wait, did I just describe Prince Hal? And what happens? What happens to that character over 300 Marvel movies? I can't remember. And it just occurred to me that we're still doing the same thing. We start with Tony Stark as this child. He's a baby. And he evolves to have like a relationship with Gwyneth Paltrow. I don't know what her character name is, but he does, but he begins to mature over the course of 1,000 Marvel movies. I'm sorry, I don't remember how many. It is too many, though. Listen, Shakespeare does it in 3 with Prince Hal. I don't know, Marvel decided to make it 300. Just kidding. I hope there's some people that both love and hate Marvel in the audience today. Well, I do what I want to talk about is the sacrifice. That's the ultimate maturation when Tony Stark gives himself to it. I don't mean to freak you guys out and do spoilers here. But the parallels kind of end at just the maturation. I don't want to fake you out on like a fake spoiler either. So let me just say that, Prince Hal does not put on a glove and, cause his own death. However, I just thought, isn't that interesting that 450 years ago, so long ago, that these plays were written, And yet we're still doing the same thing, and that's why. That's why, because there's why, that's how Shakespeare remains relevant, because it's exactly what we're still doing. But of course, Shakespeare has to go deeper and darker. And we're going to leave the Marvel Universe, but Tony Stark, as wayward as he gets, he never goes super dark. Unlike Prince Hal, who goes completely insane. So just to say, and again, I try not to do some spoilers here, but I just want to draw your attention to a monologue that he has after they have breached the gates of Harfleur, and it's not fun, this whole war thing, and he's destined to take over France. He's got an army with him. They're doing the best they can, but he doesn't want them all to die. And Harfleur has been difficult. It's very challenging. You will see it once they breach the gates, though. Gosh, and I've seen so many different versions of this. I can hardly. I'm probably thinking of the Hollow Crown. You guys got to see that one. I don't have it for you. We're watching the Globe this time. I'm sorry. But he's up on a horse, and he delivers. It's just incredible. Listen to this. I'm just going to read to you from Act 3, Scene 3. He calls. He says, I need the governor of the town. I don't want to read this whole thing, but I kind of want to. I won't. The gates of mercy shall be all shut up. So he's saying, you guys quit now. The gates of mercy shall be all shut up. And the fleshed soldier, rough and hard of heart, in liberty of blood, hand shall range. Meaning, these guys they're too much for me to stop, kids. Harfleurians, governor of Harfleur, I can't control what they're gonna do. I cannot do it with conscience wide as hell, mowing like grass your fresh, fair virgins and your flowering infants. Figure it out. It's horrible. It's absolutely horrible. What is it then to me of imperious war arrayed in flames like the prince of fiends? Do with his smirched complexion, all fell feet, and linked to waste and desolation. Man, nothing is reserved. Shakespeare is completely off the hook. Why does Shakespeare remain relevant? Because Marvel's filled with cowards! I'm sorry, I shouldn't have done it. Should I delete that? I'm not gonna. They're cowards. They won't tell the truth. He does. This is what war is. You know what? Even Winter Soldier 2, Captain America 2, Winter Soldier, about as close as they get. That's the one movie. If I had to get rid of all of them, that would be it. That one tells the truth about war a little bit. But this tells the truth about war 100% of the time. Henry V. He's Henry V. If I have called him Prince Hal, because that's the way I love to remember him. What is to me when you yourselves are cause of your pure maidens fall into the hand of hot and forcing violation? This is what the Russians are doing to the Ukrainians! Right now, nothing's changed! What reign can hold licentious wickedness when down the hill he holds his fierce career? Why am I getting all excited about this? Because damn it, it's the truth of war. And that's what Shakespeare's about. Oh, all right, Henry IV, Part 1. I just did that. It's Falstaff. I'll have none of that grinning honor. Do you guys remember that line from the end of Henry IV part? I'll have none of that grinning honor, right? It's about honor. It's all about honor. Who's the most dishonorable character in Henry IV part 1? Probably Falstaff. He even wants to fake him out. It's like, oh no, you killed Hotspur. I killed Hotspur. Look at me. Look at me. No, Prince Hal did it. But who wanted the credit? Falstaff. What does he think of honor? It just leaves, I'll have none of that grinning honor. And that's this reference to a guy's head who's been slit. And he's got sort of like the Joker smile on his face. And he's lying there dead in the mud. get into this. What is this video about? It's about getting you excited about that. Don't lean back, lean in. Listen, upon the enraged soldiers in their spoil, as send precepts to the Leviathan to come ashore. Therefore, you men of Harfleur, take pity of your town and your people, whilst yet my soldiers are in my command. Is it bullshit? Probably. And it's dicey. It's certainly compelling. It is compelling. Whilst yet the cool and temperate wind of grace blows the filthy and contagious clouds of heady murder, spoil, and villainy. His own people, he's going to be saying, are villains. Villains. They're going to do awful stuff, and he's going to let you know exactly what it is. My apologies, but you know what? Trigger warnings. I don't know. What? Shakespeare. If not, why? In a moment, look to see. It's about to happen. About to happen in a moment. The blind and bloody soldier with foul hand defile the locks. Right. Defile the locks, kids. Just grab them in the streets. Pick them up. Put them onto your horse. Pick them up. Put them over your shoulder. Grab their locks. Gosh, it's vicious. It's just alive and compelling and vicious, and it is indeed the truth of war. I know, listen, we're in the middle of a term. You're probably too busy spoiling to read some headlines. Try. This is what's happening out there right now, right today. The blind, if not, why? In a moment, look and see. The blind and bloody soldier with foul hand. I can't even read it twice. Your fathers taken by their silver beards. Another sort of image of these soldiers lifting people up by their hair. And their most reverend heads dashed to the walls. Your naked infants spitted upon pikes like a piñata. Whilst the mad mothers, listen, look at what Shakespeare can do. Yeah, just look at this. Look at this. In a single monologue, images of violence. Why is he the best? Because these horrible images that you just have to stop in your own brain. They're so terrible. You don't want to look, and yet you have to. And then he flips it. Whilst their mad mothers with their howls confused do break the clouds, weeping, right? The weeping is my thing. Like, it's not in there. Like, do break the cloud just means that they're just, but mad mothers, not angry mad, but they have literally lost their minds. They have lost their minds for what they have seen done to their infants and daughters. They have lost their minds, whilst the mad mothers with their howls confused do break the clouds, as did the wives of Jewry at Herod's bloody hunting slaughter, man. Kill all the babies. What say you? Will you yield and this avoid? Or guilty in defense be thus destroyed? Yeah. All right, folks, you get to walk out of this class knowing why Shakespeare's the greatest. I hope so. But that's the middle of the play. He's not going to leave us that dark. He's actually going to, again, as I have talked about, he's creating an impression of a great king who can move his soldiers to win under impossible odds. And in Act 4, Scene 3, there is another monologue that I want you guys to pay close attention to as you're listening, reading. And I know that our person who gives us the chit-chat about it is going to seriously make much ado about this. This day is called the Feast of Crispian. He that outlives this day and comes safe home will stand tiptoe when the day is named, and rouse him at the name of Crispian. He that shall live this day and see old age will yearly on the vigil feast his neighbors and say, tomorrow is Saint Crispian. Then will he strip his sleeve and show his scars. So Shakespeare is showing a leader who can join a nation, basically, but also join these soldiers. There's so much that I want you to see and enjoy. I'm sorry to highlight that super dark moment, but it is the distance that Shakespeare creates between highs and lows in his plays that make him great. When people ask you, why is he so great? Because he can take you to the very lowest and then take you to the very highest. He can make you feel the absolute worst and make you feel just jubilant. And that's why we do this Shakespeare thing we do.